photography has always been an excuse to go explore. And for me, that's always been the jewel, because it gets me out, it keeps me out. And the more I can stay out, the more treasures, visual treasures I can find, the more I stay motivated. And I think also, the more I'm fulfilled as a person. I like meeting people. I like seeing the planet. I like seeing the connection between the environment and people. And you're recording history. That's a lot on your plate, but that's a compelling reason to continue. My career as a shooter started off in fine art, but I've always found that publications were kind of a greater tool for me because it reached more people. As an editorial shooter, you shoot a variety of things. So, I've shot pro sports for Sports Illustrated. I shoot feature stories for Smithsonian Magazine. I've shot a book for National Geographic. I've worked for National Geographic Traveler and adventure magazines, Time, Newsweek. And so it's a variety, it's a hodgepodge. And editorial is basically kind of a photojournalism approach. That's my approach to storytelling. What you learn about photography, I think, as an editorial shooter, I think more than anything else, is that our backyard is the same as everybody else's backyard. We're just in different locations. What's exciting is, of course, seeing things differently. And I might go on assignment someplace and I'm in a different country for a month. When I come back home, I see home differently. Our neighborhood here on Garfield Avenue is unique, and a tradition that's been going on the block for over 50 years is the guys get together on the first Thursday of every month and play poker.
Since you guys are showing each other cards anyway down there.
Oh. A lot of wine in it, that end already.
This neighborhood is certainly a collection of eccentrics.
My next door neighbors are professional clowns, and we had a survey who was the most eccentric on the block, and they came in fourth.
So I had to have a CAT scan this morning. On the left side, there's nothing right, and on the right side, there's nothing left.
We could have told you that for free.
I'd had this idea for a local publication to do a story on my block. I got cool people right on my block.
So he said, bring what you hold dear. In one of our pictures, we have my wife and Mary and I with our dogs. In another one, I've got my tuba and her camera. Layne has a way of not only capturing the image, but capturing who we are.
That was kind of the goal, is just come out as you are, and I'm just gonna take your pictures, and we'll have everybody in the block in a portrait right in the center of Garfield Avenue. So it's a simplified thing, but yet there's a personality that exists in each one of those portraits.
Oh, I was in my scout uniform, my wife was with me, and then they photographed my dog too. He's the hit of the neighborhood. He's a goofball who probably should be confined to a mental hospital.
This is amazing. You'd think this would be for money, hashtag not illegal.
My latest portrait project is called Voices of America. What I'm looking to do here is photograph 10 different portraits of people in each of the 50 states, asking them to, in 50 words or less, define America. Each portrait that I take in this project is going to require a different approach, because everybody I shoot is going to be different. Everything from, a CEO of a corporation to, a waitress at a cafe. What are you trying to say in a portrait? Is it more about the person? Is it more about the environment? In Danny's case, he's got a small little cafe right here in South Minneapolis. So I wanted to shoot him originally outside when the sun's coming up, which is when he opens. And in doing so, I wanted to show the size of his establishments. We know that it's not a huge restaurant. It's a combination of things, and that's what I want the viewer to see.
Danny, turn your shoulders a little bit that way. All I'm doing now, Danny, is just checking the light, because I want the light from the flash to kind of match that ambient light, and so this happens quick.
All of these portraits aren't just one setup. By the time the edit's done, you've chosen one. But you shoot a lot, so you get the richest, most interesting portrait of that person. The more options I have from each person gives me the greater opportunity to be able to show a diverse collection of visual portraits, no matter where I go.
When Layne asked me to be a part of his project, I was happy to help out, just to give my 2 cents worth of what I think America is.
It's really pretty complicated. How do you answer that? Is it family? Is it universal, worldwide? Is it business?
Through this project, portraits have become a vehicle to tell a story about who this country is now through the eyes of many, many people, and allows me to be able to go dive into people's lives and learn about them through not only photography, but then with words. This is no different than the workshops I teach. Over 25 years ago, when Paul Shirky and Will Steger did their North Fold trip, I did a number of stories on these guys over the years. And then Paul opened up Wintergreen Dog Sled Lodge in Ely. And in doing so, it became the perfect vehicle for me. Let's do a workshop on dog sledding. Here's a place to go take people and do a dog sledding adventure trip and learn how to photograph it.
Lori, watch the post behind her though. Just the paws and the head. Shoot vertical. Shoot a vertical. There you go. Boot Camp Kennedy at work. Yeah.
The workshop gig has been good for photographers because, again, it's an excuse for me to get out and teach people how to photograph their experiences. But we do these all over the world. The goal in each one of my workshops, the people that are on it, is 2 things. One, I want them to learn to connect the dots with their pictures. The second is I want them to look for things that they normally bypass. When you are driving down the road and you see something and you go, oh, that'd make a cool shot. Stop. Man, those are freebies. That is your visual consciousness. If you don't stop and get it, you have bypassed something that defines your style.
This shot, I want you to get a silhouette dog. So this is belly photography. What we're doing here, we're looking directly into the sun. We want to see is the perspective, how close you are to where the dog is filling the frame. We want the dog to be running into your living room.
So one of the values of the workshop is teaching people about access, about how you get these shots. So learning this process, giving yourself permission to say, I need to stop and get this shot, is a hurdle most people can't get past.
Oh, look at that one. See? Oh, you got it. You got it. It's a team effort all the way from canine to human.
At Wintergreen, the thing that we do is the polar plunge. We get everybody warmed up to the Northland by taking a nice hot sauna and then having a nice hole cut in the ice and then coming down and jumping into White Iron Lake.
Burrito. Oh, that's the kind of pain we want, baby. That's the kind of pain. Okay, shoot away.
Ultimately, I think photographers, the pleasure they get in the meeting is sharing their work. But I gotta tell you, I think my favorite part of it is being there. I've never been a competitive photographer. I don't compete with other photographers. I only compete with myself. So I see a great Brandenburg shot. I see a great William Albert Allard photograph, and I look at that and I go, son of a biscuit. And it's not that I'm mad that I didn't get that shot. I'm jealous that I wasn't there to see what they saw at that point in time. And so it's being out there, it's shooting, I think, is the driving force between the pleasure, the spiritual connection of the medium for me.
There it is. Okay, you know, there's an old saying from years ago in photography, it's F8 and be there, which means you gotta be out doing this. That was great, you guys, thank you.
That was freaking gnarly.